I love how you explained your own journey with trust. So first it was personal, right? Then it became professional. And then when I went to grad school, it became conceptual. I think those are really important distinctions to make. And as I was listening to you share that and combining that with what you had shared earlier around performance reviews and the ways that can show up in the workplace, and how you shared what you found is that if we are to build trust within others, it's important to have a trusting relationship with ourselves and to trust ourselves as people. But as you as you shared about the implications of going into these environments, workplaces, other places, and we each have these different definitions of trust, I'm thinking about the outcomes of not having the conversations about what those expectations are. And I feel like there are so many equity, social justice, racial justice, gender justice, so many issues uh, behind the experience that's created when a person with marginalized identities is experiencing it. Oh, wait, I thought we were on the same page and we're not. And how those instances of realizing that the way that we trust ourselves is not the way that dominant society defines what trust is. And I'll say this too. Sometimes it don't always have anything to do with our self-esteem, but we still have to interact with the systems that have implications for that. And like the impact on that to a person's ability to trust themselves or their relationship with trusting themselves. So earlier we're talking about one of the things embedded in this project, Social Justice Origin Stories, is recognizing the impact of socialization and how sometimes we're inundated with all these negative messages about ourselves. And that to hear that day in and day out or experience that and see it reflected in different systems, that has an impact. I appreciate how you laid out again, like it started personally, became professional, and then conceptual when you were in grad school. And I just feel like there are folks out there listening to this who are taking a breath at, oh, wow, this is describing some things that really resonate. So, a question that I had was, what sorts of things have you found helpful in developing that trusting relationship with yourself in the context of systems of oppression and those messages we get that are intended to wear away at the trust that we have of ourselves?
It's a great question. So I'll say one thing first, which is like love. I love the love trust analogy because I think it really helps people understand how complicated trust is. And I think we give ourselves a lot of permission around love because it's so tender and it's so core to who we are. And I think trust is just like the next circle out. It's just our love with people and it's equally as tender, right? So, one of the things that I think about a lot is that love is not a destination, it's an experience. And in that same way, trust is not a destination. It's not a place that we get to where all the boxes are checked and we're done. We have trust, right? Which is part of the problem with how things are conceptualized right now around trust, right? And I understand why, but it's numerically defined in many ways. Like trust is low, trust is high. And it's true. I'm not saying those things aren't true, but could you imagine a chart that says love is low, love is high? Like, how do you even measure it? I have so many questions. And I'm trying to say from a narrative perspective, and it's true. It's naming a problem that is real. But I think it doesn't give us permission to experience the complexity of it. So, in developing a trusting relationship with myself in an oppressive system, it is an ongoing, everyday conversation with myself. And some days those conversations go well and I feel good. And some days those conversations are hard and I don't feel good. I feel burnt out. I feel exhausted. I feel hopeless sometimes, right? Like, how can I build trust in a context that is fundamentally not built for me, that doesn't believe in my humanity or my brilliance? Even try to develop trust in that system. And the amount of work that it takes every single day to undo the harmful narratives that system has about me
Mm.
is an extraordinary amount of labor. And so I I have a few practices that I have developed over time, and I would encourage others who might be listening to find the practices that work for you. Because ultimately, whatever your spirituality is, whatever your faith is, coming back to the core of who we are as brilliant, divine, incredible collections of stardust. Like we are part of this incredible world that causes a lot of harm and contains a lot of beauty. And so, what are the practices that help you stay connected to yourself? Because that has to be where the compass points. So, how I develop a trusting relationship with myself is I journal, I meditate, I try and connect with beauty in some way, shape, or form every day. I am anchored in my gratitude to try and really own the things that do feel good and solid in life. But at the end of the day, I like that you said developing. How do you
Developing. That's right.
develop? That word
That's right.
develop, trees stop growing. Never. Maybe they do. But it's that same idea of we're always reaching our roots in the ground. We're always reaching up. We're always seeking the stability of who we truly are. And the more we can connect with that, the more that we are connecting with others from that solid place. And then I would say, from a more, it all sounds practical to me, but from a more everyday, being very selective about when you choose to engage with the systems. And that is not always possible, depending on what your work is, depending on so many factors in life, but being very clear about when you need to conserve your energy and step away and what that
Mm,
protection looks like. It could be taking a nap, it could be so many different things, but I think um, systems of oppression thrive on our disconnection.
mm.
And
Yes.
so,
Yes.
to me, the only way to stay whole in the dismantling of these systems is to affirm connection.